It was a cold autumn evening in Seattle, the kind where the rain fell in a steady whisper against the pavement. Streetlights cast long, golden shadows on the wet sidewalks, and the air carried the faint scent of damp leaves and distant coffee shops. Alexander Grant, a tall man in his early 40s with sharp features softened by fatigue, stepped out of his sleek black SUV. He had just left a late board meeting at his tech company, where he reigned as CEO, but tonight, like so many others, he felt the weight of his empty life pressing down on him. Alexander's days were filled with numbers, deals, and decisions that shaped empires. Yet, at home in his sprawling penthouse overlooking the Puget Sound, silence echoed louder than any victory. His marriage had ended years ago, a quiet divorce that left him with regrets and no children to fill the void. He drove aimlessly sometimes, seeking something he couldn't name. Tonight, that aimless drive led him past a dimly lit bus stop on the edge of downtown. There, huddled under the shelter's thin roof, stood a young woman. She clutched a small bundle to her chest, her thin coat doing little against the chill. Rain dripped from the eaves, soaking her shoes. She shivered, her breath visible in the cold air. Alexander slowed his car, his eyes drawn to her. She looked exhausted, her dark hair plastered to her face, but there was a quiet strength in the way she held the baby close, rocking gently as if to shield it from the world. He pulled over, his heart tugging in a way he hadn't felt in years. "Excuse me," he called through the lowered window, his voice calm and steady. "Are you okay? It's freezing out here." The woman looked up, her blue eyes wide with surprise and a hint of wariness. She was Emily Carter, a nurse in her late 20s, with freckles across her nose and a kind face marked by worry lines. In her arms was her 6-month-old daughter, Lily, wrapped in a faded pink blanket. Emily had just finished a double shift at the hospital, her scrubs hidden under the coat. The bus was late again and her small apartment was miles away. Money was tight since her boyfriend left her months ago, right after Lily was born. She worked tirelessly, but tonight, the cold seeped into her bones, and tears threatened to fall. "I'm fine," she replied softly, her voice trembling just a little, but her shivering betrayed her. Alexander hesitated, then stepped out of the car, umbrella in hand. He approached slowly, not wanting to startle her. "You don't look fine. And the baby? She must be cold too." "Please, let me help. My name's Alexander Grant. I can give you a ride home." Emily glanced at the SUV, then back at him. Strangers weren't to be trusted, especially not wealthy ones in fancy cars. But Lily stirred, letting out a small cry, and the rain intensified. What choice did she have? "Okay," she whispered. "Just a ride." "Thank you." As they drove, the heater warmed the car, and Emily relaxed slightly. Alexander asked gentle questions about her work, the baby. She shared bits, how she loved nursing, caring for others, but how hard it was alone. He nodded, sharing his own fragments of long hours. An empty home. The city lights blurred past, and for the first time in ages, Alexander felt a spark of connection. When they reached her rundown apartment building, Emily thanked him and gathered Lily. But as she stepped out, a gust of wind whipped rain into her face. Alexander watched her struggle with the door, the building's flickering light revealing peeling paint and shadows. Something stirred in him, a deep, unspoken loneliness mirroring her own. "Wait," he said, his voice soft but firm. "Come with me, just for tonight. My place is warm, safe. You can dry off, have some food. No strings attached." Emily froze, heart pounding. It was risky, foolish even, but his eyes held no malice, only kindness. Lily fussed again, and exhaustion won. "All right," she murmured, "just for tonight." Alexander's penthouse was a world away from Emily's life. High ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the glittering city below. Soft lights illuminated sleek furniture and abstract art on the walls. He showed her to a guest room, handed her towels and a robe. "Make yourself comfortable," he said. "I'll heat up some soup." In the kitchen, Alexander moved with quiet efficiency, chopping vegetables he'd bought but rarely used. The aroma of chicken broth filled the air, warm and inviting. Emily emerged, Lily fed and asleep in her arms. They sat at the island, eating slowly. Conversation flowed like a gentle stream at her dreams of becoming a head nurse, his memories of building his company from nothing. Laughter came softly when he admitted he couldn't cook beyond basics. As the night deepened, Emily shared more. Her parents were gone, lost in a car accident years ago. Her ex had promised forever but vanished when Lily arrived. "I'd do it all for her," she said, glancing at the sleeping baby. Alexander listened, his own walls cracking. He confessed his divorce, the child he and his ex-wife never had. "I thought success would fill the emptiness," he said. "But it doesn't." They talked until the clock struck midnight, the rain pattering against the windows like a lullaby. Emily felt safe here, in this stranger's home. Alexander felt alive, the silence of his life broken by her voice. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the curtains. Emily woke to the smell of coffee. Lily cooed happily, rested. Alexander had prepared breakfast: eggs, toast, fresh fruit. "You don't have to rush off," he said. "Stay as long as you need." But Emily had work. She thanked him profusely, and he drove her to the hospital. As she stepped out, he handed her his card. "Call if you need anything." Really. Days passed. Alexander threw himself into work, but thoughts of Emily lingered. He wondered about her, the shivering woman who'd touched his heart. Emily, too, replayed the night. His kindness was a rare light in her weary world. One evening, his phone rang. It was Emily. "The bus broke down again," she said, voice shaky. "And Lily's running a fever. I don't know what to do." Without hesitation, Alexander drove to pick them up. Back at his penthouse, he called a doctor friend for advice. They monitored Lily through the night, her tiny body warm but improving with medicine and care. Emily watched Alexander hold the baby gently, rocking her with a tenderness that surprised her. As Lily slept, they sat on the couch, the city lights twinkling outside. "Why are you doing this?" Emily asked softly. Alexander paused, looking at her. "Because I see myself in you, alone, fighting, and because it feels right." Tension built slowly over the following weeks. Emily started staying over more often, at first for convenience, then for comfort. Alexander cleared space in his home, buying a crib for Lily. He worked from home some days, helping with bottles and baths. Emily's laughter filled the rooms, and Lily's giggles became his favorite sound. But doubts crept in. Emily worried about depending on him. "This can't last," she confided one night. "You're a CEO. I'm just a nurse." Alexander shook his head. "You're more than that. You're strong, kind. You've given me purpose." Rising tension came one stormy afternoon. Emily's ex, Jake, showed up at the hospital, demanding to see Lily. He'd heard about her new friend through gossip. "She's my kid too," he snarled. Emily called Alexander in tears. He arrived swiftly, standing tall beside her. "Leave them alone," he said firmly. Jake backed off, but the encounter shook Emily. That night, back at the penthouse, she paced. What if he comes back? What if this is all too much? Alexander took her hands. "We'll face it together, if you'll let me." The gentle twist unfolded quietly. As they sat by the fireplace, flames crackling softly, Alexander revealed a secret. Years ago, he'd been in a brief relationship during collegia, one that ended abruptly. He'd never known about a child. But looking at Lily's features, her dark hair like his own, a suspicion grew. I think she might be mine," he whispered. Emily's eyes widened. "What? How?" He explained. A one-night stand with a woman named Sarah, Emily's older sister, who'd passed away shortly after Emily's parents. Sarah had never told him. Emily had adopted Lily as her own niece, raising her as a daughter to honor her sister. Tears flowed as pieces connected. DNA tests confirmed that Lily was Alexander's biological child. The revelation was gentle, not dramatic, but profound. It bound them in ways neither expected. Emotions deepened. Alexander proposed they make it official, and not just for Lily, but for the love blooming between them. Emily, hesitant at first, saw the truth in his eyes. "Yes," she said, her voice steady. Their life transformed. Alexander scaled back work, prioritizing family. Emily pursued her nursing dreams with his support. Lily grew in a home filled with love, her laughter echoing through the halls. In the end, as they walked along the Seattle waterfront one sunny day, hand in hand with Lily toddling between them, Alexander reflected. Loneliness had led him to that bus stop, but kindness had opened the door to joy. If you're feeling alone, remember, A simple act of help can change everything. Reach out to come with someone who cares.